Hello out there in the music listening world. I'm Josh.
And I'm Marichen.
Thank you for joining us from the live stream. If I'm still awake, I might do this as a premiere. I do not know because we are doing we just did a live stream. We're recording this beforehand, but this is being first ever released at midnight, which is kind of exciting.
Oh my gosh, I know. I'm normally never up till midnight, so we're gonna see how loopy I get.
Exactly. But if you are watching this, if we decide to do a premiere, welcome. We just got done with a completely wonderful time on that live stream. I have been promoting the crap out of it ever since it was announced, and I still have to do a promotion tour after we're done recording this. We're actually recording this the day before. So if continuity seems weird, we're time travelers.
I know, right? I love traveling in time. I just feel like so extra right now.
Exactly. But our podcast co-host, our live stream co-host, is a wonderful dude. I sat in during his Aliens live watch, and that was just a fun time.
Yeah, I know. I've been meaning to get into some of his. I have just had the craziest week ever.
Yeah.
And I feel so bad because I'm normally really good about communication and I'm pretty quick about getting back with somebody. And I have just been so hard to get a hold of. And that's just that's with you, that's with some of my other group chats. It's not even just with Discord or anything. It's oh my gosh, it's been
this week. Holy crap, this week.
Oh my god, I know.
We're on take 2, by the way. We didn't do this on take because Discord even decided to crap out with us having an off. So
I know it was it was like no, Josh doesn't need to talk. He's done now.
Even though this is a highlight of any week that we do this, and it really does mean a lot that you hopped on to do this every time, because it really does make my week. Because honestly, with the way both of us are, it's lucky we even put YouTube videos up at all, especially with how busy this week was. I'm telling you, yesterday, after I got back from my lunch break, it felt like I did 3 days worth of work in one day. And that was because I go to lunch from 1 p.m. my time and I come back 2 p.m. my time. And from 2 to 5, I was literally I don't want to use a non-vegan term like chicken with the head cut off, but that was kind of my week, was just putting out as much fires as possible. And even today, I didn't get anything that I wanted to get done at work because something went down. And that was fun. But, it's always been just kind of crazy with the way things that have been going. And, with all that's been happening with the pandemic, it's kind of just crazy for, everything that's been kind of happening.
Yeah, I feel like this week has been and I mean, honestly, it's getting closer to my wedding date.
Yep.
Of the year.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many things that are coming crumbling down right now that I feel like I could have a nervous breakdown.
And we apologize there because you did cut out for just a second. So we're rolling with this as it goes along. But, you're right. The wedding date is coming up, and it just feels like yesterday that we were just starting out with kind of working at home, and it was March, and we didn't know what was going to happen with record day and everything. And now it's like, oh, gosh, it's the middle of October.
I know. We were talking yesterday, Jared and I, and we were talking about the fires in Australia. And I'm like, man, that seems like that happened 5 years ago at this point, and that happened at the first of the year.
Exactly.
I feel like we've had 10 years in this 1 year.
There's always been this saying, boy, it's been a decade this week.
Oh, yeah.
But we're here to talk about some fun stuff, other than our lives being completely insanely busy for us being so young. But, it's a double-edged thing, If you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life. And I just happen to have a bad week. But overall, it's just, I'm glad to be here and recording. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, I'm really glad we could sit down and get this done because I know we've both been wanting to talk about the Black Friday record store day
Mm-hmm.
list. And I've got a video coming up. Well, it'll already be up at this point whenever
Mm-hmm.
podcast. So I'm really excited about that. I talk a little bit on that video about some stuff, but I'm gonna go a little more in depth probably in this video than I did in that one because Jared and I kind of filmed that one really early in the morning and we were both kind of
loopy.
Yeah.
I'll go probably more in depth. I have yet to film mine because I was supposed to have my brand new glasses this weekend. The live stream is going to be, hey, here's my new look. And I get a call from the eyeglass people. Sorry, we got your frames in, but the lenses are not going to be until Monday.
Oh, no.
So I was like, that was going to be my new video with my new glasses. So anybody who follows my channel, I may have a video up by now. If I don't, it'll be the next week because, yeah, I was trying and hoping that my new glasses were going to kind of be in. And I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of like not a new era for my channel because I have the 3 on there. But just like, okay, let's move on. This is a new look for the rest of the year, yada, yada. And I'm already on a backup pair of glasses anyway. So it's just like, this year, if you have plans and you're lucky to have them, be blessed.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Everything is just so all over the place.
But it's just showing how resilient we can be overall. I will say that. So, I will not be going to the October, and it is confirmed that I'm not going to the October because I got something else for myself instead that is on embargo. It's a video game. I very rarely buy video games. So I will not be attending the October because there's actually quite a bit in the November. I have at least like 4 things that I'm like really heavily invested in. And then there's a couple of things here and there that I would absolutely kind of nice to have, but don't necessarily need. And there is one on here, and we'll talk about it in a little bit, that this has not happened to me, I don't think, in ever with Record Store Day. I actually made like a gasp. You know, like that you find out something really cool is going to happen, you go, ah! You know, that kind of thing. I'm surprised you didn't hear it with how loud the noise I made.
I know. Hey, we're not too far away, so
no, definitely not.
I'm surprised.
But overall, there were some things that I have seen before. There's some stuff that I'm like, again, that, you know, with every one of these that come out, there's always going to be those ones that were like, really, you know, like, oh, picture discs again, you know, that kind of stuff. But overall, there's more that I've kind of been into, but at the same time, I'm surprised that there isn't more mainstream stuff available. Because typically, with the Black Friday list, this is more the mainstream stuff rather than the collector stuff, because that is meant more for like the holiday crowd.
It is.
So I'm surprised with some of these. Some of these I'm not surprised with, and we're going to get to one of them, and you know probably what I'm going to say. But
oh yeah, I'm sure I know what release you're talking about because we had it on, and then it got put. So yeah, I'm pretty sure we're on the same page. I literally looked at, didn't they just do this?
Also, just everybody, we are aware of things breaking up here and there. We are just recording this to record this because at this point, this is 2020. Discord, get your crap together because we might not have another software to record on.
I know. I wonder if it's my laptop because I have my laptop here.
I don't know.
Record Store Day notes, but it's never done that before.
I don't know, but we're going to keep trucking along. We're going to keep going because we're recording this almost live, so we're going to treat it like a live stream.
Yeah, there we go.
So, overall thoughts, except for the one release that the two releases that I absolutely have to have, like Die Hard have, ah, you know, nothing is kind of like jumping out at me, surprising me anymore. There's a couple of things that I have, thoughts on as we dig in deeper, but I'm like, you know. But I go every year on Black Friday, so it's like if
Mm-hmm.
it's cool to actually have something that I'm like for, then great. But this is the one typically I don't spend the most on. Because let's be honest, I've already spent like what $300 this year on vinyl alone. So this year has been a big spending year, and I think it's due to us being inside more, me not going out as much. Not that I went out at all. Let's be honest.
Yeah, and you have more access to just, look at the internet. Everybody's been at home and like,
Mm-hmm.
ooh, what can I find on the internet and buy? And I'm just like,
Yep.
I need to stop. Like, I need to go back to work, make money, so I'm not looking on the
Yes.
internet at things I can buy.
It's
And then
also.
I have my group chat of
Yep.
the youngest members in the VC,
Mm-hmm.
and we're always sending each other new releases. And I'm like, ah, crap, I gotta get this one. Ah, crap, what about that one? And I'm like, you guys, you literally enable me to buy so many records. And today, we were actually talking about one of my friends, Mike, over at Retrospin
Mm-hmm.
Vinyl. If you've not checked out his channel, do yourself a favor and do.
We're gonna
He's a
leave
big Taylor Swift fan,
Yeah,
and
we'll leave a link in the description.
he has all of the different covers.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing he was missing the signed copy. And he needed to order the signed copy so he could have all the possible variants,
Yep.
Taylor Swift dropped some more signed albums, and he was able to get his hands on one and send us a screenshot. And so, of course, Dylan over at the Record Spinner and I were like, yeah, woohoo, you did it. Yeah. And he goes, come on, you guys, you're just enabling my bullshit. And I'm like, you guys enable mine too. So.
And what's funny is I was able to get my hands on a signed copy and support my local shop. But I'm gonna say this, especially with the signed CD. Taylor Swift, you have single-handedly cornered the market on CD frames. Do you know how hard it was for me to find a CD frame? It took me almost like 2.5 weeks to get a CD frame.
Oh, really?
Like every time Michael's finally had it in stock, I go to the order, fail. I finally got it. It's up. You're gonna probably see it. Well, you don't see it really because it's behind me and like when I do my videos. But when I go over my next series about all the signed stuff and all the fun stuff on my record wall, I'll talk about it. But it took, like I said, it felt like 3 weeks. It was probably like 2 weeks. I don't know how long I've had it, but it was a good enough, long enough time that it felt like, yeah, you cornered the market on the CD frames because of the flippers. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're talking about enabling and everything, and with Record Store Day kind of moving online too, it's helped some people get things a little bit more. It also doesn't help that this is kind of holiday time, and oh boy, you got a free $5 gift card.
Right.
I have a $5 gift card with Best Buy. I have their credit card, so it allows me to get some points every once in a while. So I have points pending, and if everything lines up, I should have $10 in credit. And I'm like, I just looked the other day, and one of the newer Charlie Bliss albums is $14. I was willing to pay the $9, but if I can get the extra $5 off, I'm like, that's not a bad price for one of the newer Charlie Bliss albums. I might have to get that.
Yeah.
But I
get you.
But it also doesn't help that I'm also a Doctor Who fan, and they've recently been animating some of the lost episodes because some stupid son of a bitch decided to burn and tape over copies of like the very old stuff. So there is episodes upon episodes that are missing, but they have the audio from the shows. So what they're doing now is those ones that they don't have anything recovered, they either do what's called a telesnap, which is just basically pictures with the audio that's going on, or they animate it. And one of the episodes, Power of the Daleks, which is basically, I believe, one of the earliest, if not the earliest, second Dr. Patrick Troughton episodes, is like first episode. Done
Hmm.
so well. Like, I absolutely love it. And they did another one called the Macra Terror, or the Makra Terror, depending on your dialect. That's probably one I want to pick up. And they're just now doing another one called the Faceless Ones. That's the new one that's coming out this year. So it's like, being a Doctor Who fan and wanting to see this, and it being a $20 DVD, you know,
Hmm.
and yes, it is one quote unquote episode, but back then, episodes and serials were kind of like, oh, this is 4 25-minute episodes for telling this one story. Sometimes they only just put the episode on there. I am looking at you, enemy of the world. I love you, but I want to know exactly how you found it and stuff behind it. It being one of my favorite serials. Yeah, you can tell I'm a little salty about that one, but
Yeah. Hey, about stuff. I am the same way about some things.
but I kind of want it, but it's like it's also $20, and I'm like, nowadays $20 is like $200 sometimes, if you know what I mean.
I feel that deep down in my soul right now.
Because let's be honest, I've had repairs on both cars. I've had new tires on the car. I've had to have the insulation reblown in my attic to the tune of a $5,000 loan. What else? I've had 2 hotel stays, one because of flooding, one because we lost power. Yeah, I'm lucky that I can even buy a record this year. Let's be honest. But
Yeah, I think, sometimes we all are, especially being off for as long
mhm,
as a lot of us were. And some people still aren't working.
no, and it stinks. But if you are job hunting right now and you're listening to this, we wish you the best of luck on your job hunt.
Yeah, definitely. Because I know it's so hard to get a job right now.
Hmm. And going back from our long 10-minute tangent on paying things, let's steer it back to the list. I said it was eh. So, what are your kind of overall impressions? Are you the same way?
Yeah, there are 4 on my list,
Mm-hmm.
and 2 of them I'm really excited about, and I really want to add to my collection. The other 2 are just kind of like, meh, if I have the funds and if I see them, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I was kind of disappointed with the list, but like I'm glad I was because I feel like because we've had the 3 drop dates for the April list, I was able to pick up more than I would have if we would have had Record Store Day in April.
Mind reader.
And I like that because there were several releases that I really would have liked to have had and have been able to pick up. I mean, I have picked up like my top priority picks.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then there are 2 that are priority for me that are coming out in October that I'm hopefully going to get. But I feel like I've been able to buy other things that I've been interested in and maybe not known a lot about
Mm-hmm.
or have been on the fence about. And so I feel like I've spent a lot of money. Would have been the April drop day.
Exactly.
Kind of glad that this list was a little underwhelming to me.
Exactly. Same.
Yeah, I mean, I expected it to be, like you said, a lot of the commercial stuff and more Christmas related things because I know they always do like
Mm-hmm.
metal bands will cover Christmas songs or whatever, like they always do some fun Christmas stuff, which I
I
enjoy
enjoy it
and I
too.
think sometimes can be fun. And I know they do a lot of the kids stuff, like they've done the Baby Shark and Puppy Pals and the
PJ
PJ Mask
Masks.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. All that, whatever, all that kind of stuff, the kids stuff. And that's great
Mm-hmm.
because I think, especially if you are a record collector that is a parent to a younger child
Mm-hmm.
and you buy those records, you could really teach your kids about records at a young age.
Mm-hmm.
That's quite the opposite of what my dad always had a record player and records growing up, but I was never allowed to play with them and put
Right.
them on the turntable and use the and listen to them do. And I was told I was too young and I didn't know how to do this or how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
parent of a young child, you can really teach your child, especially if your child is interested in music, you can teach them how to use a turntable, what's
Yep.
good, what's bad, and they can know from a young age, which I really wish I had that
Yeah.
experience.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been around them and stuff, but I never really a lot about them until I started collecting on my own.
Right. And I grew up with the same records that I had, and this is kind of the thing that I found out as I was kind of about 7 years ago when I started collecting. Wait, there's more records that were pressed than the ones that I had growing up. What is this? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I always had that set, and I was like, okay, this is probably all that's
Yep.
ever been pressed. What? There's record shops. See, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know, right? Like, I mean, there were so many things that when I got into collecting on my own, I was, man, oh man, like I didn't know this happened. I didn't know this still existed and all this other
Exactly.
kind of stuff. Because I remember being like all of like 4 or 5.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, if you would ever get these, but they were like these mail order catalogs.
Yes.
And I would always flip through them and make a wish list. And in every one we got, I kid you not, I like starred or circled or whatever the record players that they had in there, which
Mm-hmm.
looking back at it now, they were like the all-in-one systems and they were pieces of crap. But like, I always wanted one,
Yeah.
and my parents would never let me have one of my own.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm so glad that like the resurgence come
Mm-hmm.
because in my eyes to hey, I because I wasn't able to.
Mm-hmm.
So I was really excited when I was able and things that I liked.
Exactly. And again, we're gonna apologize if you ever hear any. We're hoping that if we power through this, the chaos of the evening will help with this. But I was the same way. We had one of those all-in-ones. I begged for it, and we finally got it. And we only played it every couple of little bits, and then I finally took over it and was like, one day I just wanted to play it. And I'm not knocking anybody who starts out with that, of course. Am I going to? Recently, there were a couple people that have come to me for advice, and of course, I said, you know what, you could go with those. I'm not gonna
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna deter you, but if you just save up a little more, this will get you longer term. And there was one person who just wanted to play one record, just to see how it was. And I'm like, you know what,
Mm-hmm.
for that, I'm not gonna knock you if you go with that. But if you're willing to spend a little bit more, this is your option. You know.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm not doing any gatekeeping or anything because I think it's stupid to do that. But if I have some wisdom, I'm going to still impart it on people so they can make their own
Yeah.
educated decision. And if it's on them to, if they want that, suitcase style, if they only have like one or two records and they just want to see what this record thing's about, great, go for that. Now, if they happen to spend it on like a $500 record, then I might deter them a little bit. I'm just kidding. But you know what I mean.
Yeah, I get you.
So let's talk about some of the key things that we were kind of thinking here. One question I have to ask: where is that Polaris Songs from the Pete and Pete reissue? That's missing.
Oh, really?
Because I didn't see it anywhere. I would have highlighted it. Let me just double check because I have the list up. But let me check on it. Because that was going to be my number one suggestion to you, or any of the listeners, because if you didn't get a chance to have it, this is your chance to get it. And it would also have had some demo songs on there, and it looks like it's been pulled. I have not seen it. And I've watched every single video that has come out for all 3 days, and so far I didn't even see it in the October one. So where is that? It would have been nice for that to come out, because it would have been my suggestion to you, because it's a great, of course it was kind of a fake band that did all the songs for Adventures of Pete and Pete, but it's a pretty solid album just for being like not a joke band, but a band that was meant to make like a TV soundtrack. It's actually really good. It's like '90s alt indie, and it was really good. And it was going to be one that I suggested because I wasn't angry that it was being reissued. Because for me, I'm not in this for values. Yes, it is kind of valuable that I have this record, of course, but
Hmm.
people are going to get the chance to have it that missed out. Kind of like when they did the Emmett Otter reissue on the picture disc. I wasn't going to pay $40 for no picture disc, of course, but when they reissued that, I was like applauding them, even though it was a picture disc, because they thought, hey, those people that missed out are getting a second chance. So
Yeah.
that's my one big question. And my second question is, why is there another Ace of Spades?
Right? I knew that. Mentioned it. I knew it.
I mean,
Because I was like, and it's another picture disc.
really?
Picture disc. Yes, I'm like 90% sure it said picture disc.
Hold up.
I'm gonna have to go double
I have
check
it.
this.
I have it up. I have my spreadsheet up. One of our big tips we always say is to plan ahead, and I always create a spreadsheet, looking for looking at everything. Well, this time I've actually made it easier on myself, and I've included clickable links in my spreadsheet, so I have easy access.
There you go.
So we'll get into our tips again, but let me see this here. It just says 12-inch vinyl. Let me see here.
Okay. I could have sworn it said picture disc
It's
on
not.
it.
Thank goodness. I like the pictures.
Thank God. Okay, like I could have swore when I went through the list the first time that it said picture disc. I wonder if they changed it or like it was so pissed about it that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind Ace of Spades, but it's getting a release every record day.
I mean, it got the release in April. Why does it need a release in Black Friday's
I mean, if
record
you
store day?
need to have every single version of it, I get that. There's something for the Beatles person every single time. It's the band in Santa suits includes it includes a holiday ornament and never before released 2020 instrumental mix. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool, and it's probably the Ace of Spades. The spade is probably what you're going to get for the
Ornament.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still
cool.
don't think it's worth it.
But
they should have pulled one of the releases, honestly. Like they should have pulled the April one and just done
this one.
The one, for the holiday season.
Yeah.
What do I know? I am not on the marketing team at Records.
If we were, we'd probably be having a much higher quality budget podcast.
Oh, I wish. Oh my gosh. With that.
Yeah. So, what you want to talk about your releases, and then I'll talk about mine, or do you want to do kind of one and back and forth?
We can do back and forth
Let's
if you want.
I'm
cool with whatever.
Let's do back and forth.
All right. I'll start with a maybe.
Okay.
The Vince Guaraldi Trio, Chris.
Yes.
7-inch.
Yep, that's maybe for me too.
It seems like a good release. You've got, Christmas Time is Here, and then the B-side is an alternate take. It's on green vinyl. I mean, it's really cool. Yep. Charlie Brown Christmas album.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is a maybe for me because the Charlie Brown Christmas album is so readily available.
Exactly.
That if I don't get this 7-inch, just buy the full album and have the song.
Yeah.
And I do kind of have a special connection with the song. When I was in band in high school, we would play Christmas Time is Here at our Christmas concert. So it's kind of like sentimental, but at the same time, I am not going to be upset if I don't get it. Yeah. It's just something that would be kind of nice to have, but I don't really play my 7-inches a lot either.
Right.
I tend to just gravitate toward my LPs because while vinyl itself is inconvenient, 7-inches are really inconvenient and almost too much work.
And especially with my turntable, I now rock the U-turn turntable. Toying table. Yes, exactly. The toying table.
There you go. The toying table.
But it's a belt driven, and you have to move it onto another notch for 45s. That's great if you're spending a long time with the 45s, right? But if you want to switch it back to 33, the damn thing falls off the platter.
Yep.
Sometimes I just don't want to move it back, you know? So I'm like,
I could see that being really annoying.
but I got the turntable for free. So it's part of
You
the
know, you can't
annoyance. No,
complain. Can't
it's
complain
part of the
about free.
annoyance. So if I'm going to be spending 45s, it better be for a damn good reason. The reason I would like this would go along with the one that I got a couple of years ago. It's Linus and Lucy, and the B side was "Oh Good Grief."
Oh, okay.
The reason I might say to go for that one is if you have if you already have the 12-inch, this is both versions of Christmas Time Is Here,
Hmm.
which it's sentimental. The reason I kind of wanted it was to kind of go with the other one, but I got that for Christmas one year, and it's so awesome that I actually have it. But actually got it for Christmas last year from a Secret Santa in the vinyl record form that I'm on. But it's that at least is one song I don't have on the 12-inch is "Oh Good
Yeah.
Grief." But I'm not knocking either version because both versions of that with the children singing and just the piano are both masterpieces on their own. So you can't go wrong. It is a $10 7-inch. That's actually a reasonable price, in my opinion, for something like that. If we're in other places, they might charge like $20 for it because that's the way things are nowadays. But any pricing that we say comes from Bull Moose. We always tout them as our go-to resource for pricing. So when we get into our tips side of things, like we always do, and if you're a first-time listener, we always go into Record Store Day tips. If you're going to be heading out, all that kind of stuff. We'll get into that kind of towards the end here. But if any prices are coming up, it's from bullmoose.com. That is BULLMOOSE.com. They're a really cool independent record chain up in the New England states. So that was one. Yeah. So what I do with my list is I kind of go I grab everything that I have any complete interest in, and then I just kind of put everything onto a categorized list 1, 2, 3, and 4. So one that I was kind of interested in was the Fraggle Rock release. Now, what's interesting about this one is, yes, it is a picture disc, but it brings together from the Apple Plus new TV series and the original. So you kind of have it in tandem, two versions of kind of everything. And there are, other people on this like Jason Mraz, Alanis Morissette, Neil Patrick Harris, Ziggy Marley, Common. So all, kind of cool release if you're really into Fraggle Rock. That 10-inch, that's a commercial release if you think about it. It's kind of cool and fun and one that you might play with the kids,
Mm-hmm.
I
Saw that one and I thought it was interesting, but
yeah.
it.
I might have a couple more than you, so I'm going to quickly knock out my number 4 category, if that's okay.
Go ahead. I only have 4, so go ahead.
I have a lot more to talk about than you. One that was kind of interesting to me, but just for the thought process was the Hooray for Santa Claus. Doug Milton and the Little Eskimos / the Fleshtones. Sorry, Eskimos. That's a no term right now, but I'm just reading what the release says. It's from Santa Claus Conquers the Martian. Hooray for Santa Claus! But it looks like it comes with the DVD. Martian's paired with DVD with some festive oddities from Something Weird Vault. So it looks like it might actually be the movie along with the 7-inch, which is kind of interesting. Because, you know me, I'm not one to kind of stray from the kooky weird stuff. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, the Little Richard Southern Child release. I had to at least kind of mention that one. But before we do, I can get why, but why is a 7-inch $20? I know why.
Whoa. What 7 inches $20?
The Santa Claus Conquers the Martians.
Really?
It comes with the DVD. That's why.
Oh, okay. I thought we were talking about another 7-inch that you're about to talk about. And I was like, wait, what? No.
No, that one's $20.
Okay.
It is totally worth it if you're going to get that with the DVD of Oddities. You know that is a little more incentive to pay the $20.
Yeah, I could see $20 for that, especially since DVD.
Mm. And then, of course, the last one on my kind of maybe lower end spectrum is the Little Richard Southern Child release. Because I didn't have
Yeah.
any in my collection. I've been like, oh, okay. As I was going through, I'm like, oh, this might actually be a kind of cool. And it's a lost Little Richard album, which, if you think about it, is, kind of nice since he recently passed away. So this is kind of like the lost album, some not new material, but kind of different material that you haven't heard yet, which I find kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I was definitely interested in that,
Mhm.
but I like Little Richard, and I like a lot else from
Mhm.
Little Richard. Um, and I really probably should get more of his albums,
Mhm.
but it's a picture disc. I don't really listen to a lot of picture discs.
Right.
So
It
I
does.
kind of decided it wasn't really worth
This
it
actually
for me
this isn't a
in the long
picture
run.
disc. It is yellow vinyl.
It isn't. Really?
Yeah, it's yellow vinyl.
I could have swore it said pictures. What is wrong with me?
Everything is picture disc tonight. Everything is picture disc.
Everything. I know. When I looked at the list, I literally swore it said picture disc, and I was just like, click, bye.
So that's why I happen to have everything up. So
I honestly have no idea what's wrong with my brain tonight. I apologize.
everything is just it's it is what it is.
I've probably pissed off some like really good collector. She doesn't fucking know what she's talking about. She's dumber than shit.
Hey, you know what? You know what I
I
have to
don't
say?
care.
You know what I have to say to you, commenter, if you're going to comment that? What's the beef, Gramps?
It's okay. I don't care. I know I'm batshit crazy some days anyway.
So
I've had an interesting week.
just for me, while you talk about your next one, I'm going to count up how many more I have to talk about. So go ahead and talk about your next one.
All right. The other maybe on my list, Doll Revolution.
Okay.
And now I like the Bangles.
Mm-hmm.
An avid fan. Think I've ever listened to this album, but it's the first time it's going to be on vinyl, so that would be cool.
Absolutely.
It is very limited. There are only like 1,200 copies of this one. So because I like the Bangles but don't know this album, I don't get it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it will be released again at some point on vinyl. But this one is supposed to be on what the website called Streaked Pink. So I don't know if that's like or
that might be like a splatter, possibly, or kind of like not a splatter, but you know how sometimes it looks like there are like streaks of vinyl rather than it be like splattery. If you follow my Instagram, you saw that I posted "We Are the In Crowd's Weird Kids." You know how it kind of looked like puffy, and like it came out in streaks rather than being like a little bit of a splatter. That could be what that is.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what that means, but and I mean it's a double LP. It is like $40. It is kind of pricey. So even if I do see it, I might end up passing because there's another album on my list that's almost $40 too. I feel like when I looked at this list, a lot of these prices were really inflated.
Yeah, a lot of these were. There was one that I was kind of like, really? Really?
I mean, like $40 for a double LP, I guess really isn't bad because usually 35.
Yeah.
So I really guess $40 for like a limited quantity double LP isn't really bad. But like, I also bought a double LP in September that was only like $31. So,
it's not that we don't want to support your local record shops, but there'd be some price gouging probably going on here. And I totally get that artists right now are not able to go out and tour and need a revenue stream. Totally get that. But we're also allowed to be here to complain about some of the prices, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like $40 is just a little ridiculous. Now, I don't know. I didn't look into if this was like hand numbered or something like that that make
Yeah.
I didn't really get that much into it. I just seen I've
There's
not really listened to this album. I'll put it on my list as a maybe,
yeah.
and that's kind of as far as I went with it. The only ones I really dive into are the ones that I have to have. So,
Yeah. And there's one coming up that I probably know you're going to talk about, and I'm not going to say it right now, but one of the prices on there was kind of interesting, to say the least. But we'll get to that a little bit later. But just some kind of brief overview thoughts of things that I kind of had passing interest. So we went over to the ones that, if I can't get anything on my list, and this is all that's down there, like, for some reason, if I can't get anything and he just gets the Vince Grimaldi trio, great. The next ones are kind of like the little bit of the higher priority list, but ones that I kind of have passing interest in. Most of these are exclusive releases. There's a couple of first releases and a couple of regional focus. So I'm going to zip through these really quick because I want to focus on my last couple for like really hard to focus on. The Jazz Sabbath release. The Black Sabbath covers done by jazz musicians. Just out of pure curiosity, I want to hear this. Is it worth
that has definitely piqued my curiosity.
Basically, what it is, let me pull this up here. Jazz Sabbath was a jazz trio formed in 1968. This is from the Record Store Day website. The self-titled debut album should have been released in 1970, but disaster struck when band leader Milton Keynes suffered a massive heart attack and the label decided to cancel the release. Shortly after, a fire destroyed the label's warehouse, erasing the album from existence. Upon his release from the hospital, many months later, Milton found out that a band from Birmingham, conveniently called Black Sabbath, had since released 2 albums containing metal versions of what he claims were his songs. Interesting so far, right?
Very.
With the recently discovered Master Tapes remix, Milton set out to prove that the heavy metal band worshipped by millions around the world is in fact nothing more than musical charlatans, thieving music from bedridden hospitalized genius. In truth, longtime Black Sabbath Ozzy Osbourne keys and guitar player Adam Wakeman, as Milton Keynes, together with 6 top musicians who go only by their 60s pseudonyms as well, delivered an album of Sabbath songs reimagined as jazz classic tracks that surprised both the metal and jazz critics in a good way. Now, for the first time on vinyl, Jazz Sabbath comes to record stores on limited translucent blue vinyl in mono, as originally intended in 1969, with a bonus track and bonus DVD. You could tell they were having a lot of fun writing that description at the top, right?
Oh, yeah.
But it comes with Fairies Wear Boots, Evil Woman, Rat Salad, Iron Man, Hands of Doom, Changes, Children of the Grave, and then a live version in 1968 of their version of Iron Man, which is the bonus track. If nothing else, I've already gotten the Black Sabbath tribute album, which is fan-fucking-tastic. Like, oh my god, I am so glad that I got that. Like, for it being a clear with black splatter, you would expect clicks and pops because of, you know, not being able to see anything. It is fan-fucking-tastic, to say a lack of a better word. And I know we're using harsher language on this one. We've had a long fucking week. Excuse us. But
yeah.
For me, that just, I heard it on someone else's video, and I was like, damn, that's interesting. But at the end of the day, do I really want it? No, and I'm okay with not having it. But just out of pure curiosity, if there's nothing else, like if my like top thing doesn't come in, and this is all that I'm able to find, I'll pick it up. You know?
Yeah, I gotcha.
There is the Pussifer 7-inch, which, if you don't know, is Maynard James Keenan's third band. He has 3 bands. Tool, of course, A Perfect Circle, and Pussifer. And it has the zaniest cover. It's the super single 2020. New single for Record Store Day Black Friday with the new song Apocalyptical and a cover of Elton John's Rocket Man on the B-side. They're a
Rocket Man. I love Rocket Man.
if you know this band and you know Maynard, who actually came down with COVID this year,
Oh,
scared
wow.
the fucking shit out of me that he had this. Because I had seen them live for the first time. Yeah, if you don't know, I believe he has glaucoma. That's why he doesn't go out in the front anymore with all the lights and everything. I was like, oh, please don't take away Maynard. Please don't take away Maynard. We've already had so many people gone this year. So it's interesting. It's a 7-inch. It's $10. $10 for a 7-inch is not that bad, truth be told. Linkin Park's Meteora. Truth be told, I'm not the biggest, hugest Linkin Park fan, but even I admit that this is a special, very important album in terms of music. I love this album. It's the follow-up to, of course, when they were called Hybrid Theory. But it has Lying to You, Faint, Numb, Breaking the Inside. It's classic from beginning to end. It's on aqua blue vinyl. I have One More Light live, and truth be told, I probably need some more, but that's enough for me as a fan, Because I'm not as big a Linkin Park fan, and that's okay. That's just kind of the way things are with me. And I was so glad to have that, just because, the bittersweet things, with everything that happened with Chester and everything. I'm glad to have that. But that's good enough for me for now because I have other bands that are on my priority list, truth be told.
Yep. Jared has One More Light in his collection as well. He has the Meteora album on his want list.
And I hope you get it.
I'm kind of like you. I'm kind of a casual fan. I only have one of their albums on vinyl, but
yeah, the One More Light live.
If Jared gets it, it's in our collection. It's in our house. I'm not like gonna die that I don't have a blue copy of Meteora.
And you know what's interesting? It's actually for something that came post Chester and with the way things are, it being $30 for a 2 LP set, that's not a bad price.
Right now, that's what I'm expecting. All these other 97 bullshit that they put on. What the hell?
Yeah,
I'm so pissed. Why is that album $30 and then the Bangles, which is also a double LP, $40?
And here's Linkin Park being like, here's one of our most popular albums. It's probably been out of print for a while. $30. Jazz Sabbath, believe it or not, is $25. That's pretty good for a price, A couple more.
Man.
Couple of highlights more. Sun O's Flight of the Behemoth. I'm a casual Sun O guy. I always find it interesting when they put something out for Record Store Day. I always like to just look at it. Dio, I need to talk to you guys. I love that you guys love picture discs, but stop fucking releasing picture discs. I have my one Dio picture disc. Every time I see, oh great, a Dio release, it's picture disc. Why is it picture disc?
Jared picture discs. The Dream Evil live is on his list as well. He has a couple of them, but I am with you.
Why
all the time? Why can't it just be like a fun colored vinyl for once, or
now
just something other than a picture disc?
If you watch my intro, my only Dio picture disc that I have, the only Dio I really have in my collection right now, is that wonderful Ronnie James Dio and Friends picture disc. It is very beautiful, and actually it sounds pretty good for it being a picture disc. But I'm not about to pay $20 for a 12-inch that has maybe like 3 songs on it because it's a picture disc.
Yeah.
Put it in a picture sleeve, and then I'll be fine.
Yeah, I think that the quality of picture discs has gotten better.
Yes.
Has, gotten even bigger. But it is never going to sound as good as an audiophile pressing.
No.
It's just the nature of how picture discs are made. It is never going to sound spectacular. But I do think that they have sounded better now than some of the first ones that I purchased when I first started collecting.
And what we mean by this is the way a record is pressed, for those if you're brand new listening and have no idea what us record collectors are getting our knickers in a twist, for lack of a better term. The way a record is pressed is essentially there are melted down plastic pieces, PVC, polyvinyl chloride, or plastic, that there's a label put in the middle, and the grooves are pressed right onto the record via what's called a vinyl puck. So it's directly pressed onto the medium that it's there. With a picture disc, you have the vinyl puck, but instead of the grooves being pressed directly onto the puck, you have the puck basically being a stability kind of like plywood, like subfloor, with the picture being on top, and then a thin layer of plastic on top of that. So you're not going to get as deep a groove, and you're not going to get as good as sounding a groove. And many of the old picture discs have surface noise. Sometimes the picture fades over time if it's in front of a window. It's really meant as a novelty piece, to be completely honest. But for a novelty piece, you're right. They have gone up in quality considerably these past couple of years. One of my favorite releases is Cool Kids by Echo Smith. I put that on every once in a while, and I'm still amazed how good it sounds. Like, it's because I don't play it that often, of course. It's just a novelty thing. But it sounds really good for it being a picture disc. They have come a long way, but if you're looking for, a novelty, and yes, this might be cool if you have, like, the suitcase or everything just for the novelty of it. But some of us are in it for the sound quality. So it's a double-edged sword, but I'm glad that they're releasing more DL. But offer us something,
Yeah.
in terms of that being there. I think it's cool that The Cure put out the picture discs because they put it in a quality package. With the picture discs, they put it in just this plastic sleeve. Here you go, $20. But with, like, let's just, even with, like, the David Bowie ones that I've had, I have a couple of those. It's just like, oh, here's the package. Here you go. When it comes to, like, say, The Cure, they put it in, like, a gatefold sleeve, one for each side. Each side gets its own really nice plastic inner sleeve. You could probably switch that out with a polyline sleeve or better. So if you do it right, I'm okay with a picture disc, but don't just put it in a plastic thing that's going to mess up the sound quality even more and just slap it out there. Come on.
Yep, I agree 100%.
I have a few more before I let you off. So I'm
Okay.
seeing out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more that I kind of had passing interest in. Best Coast, Crazy for You, 10-year anniversary. I'm kind of a casual Best Coast fan. It was kind of like the Swimmer's Blood one, when I was going through this, there was other priority stuff that came to my attention, so it kind of got knocked lower on the list. But I like their sound, they'd be kind of cool. One cool one that I wish wasn't as fucking expensive as it was is the Blue Oyster Cult live in Pasadena, July '83. I have seen a newer version of Blue Oyster Cult a couple of years ago, but the sound, like the lineup on this is just fantastic. They say, this is regarded as one of the best Blue Oyster Cult bootlegs. It's on black and blue swirl gatefold 2 LP vinyl, and then it says a 10-minute closing concert version of Roadhouse Blues. The out of 1,300, great, but it's $45. Come on. Like, really?
Yeah, that's a little expensive.
Like, even me, who's a casual Blue Oyster Cult, they're like, oh, I would kind of like this just because I like I actually really like live albums. I'm one of the few people that goes out of their way to grab on CD live albums, and if it's on vinyl, I sometimes grab a live album because there's just sometimes if it's the right crowd and it's the right thing, I love it. I have a boot of 9 Inch Nails, David Bowie. I'd like to get, I think I talked about this before, but I'd like to get I have volume 2. I'd like to get volume 1 when it was just nothing but 9 Inch Nails because the energy from the crowd was just so interesting. So if you have the right crowd with the sound recordings, it's great. I listen all the time to I always say this, my favorite concert I've ever been to was back in 2016 when I got to see Pearl Jam as my birthday present because they came here in April. And here, I mean, I had to go to Hampton, Virginia because they're used to coming to Virginia Beach, but they wanted to go to the Hampton Coliseum. I listened to that because the crowd was so in tune with Eddie and the guys that he was impressed that we were on time, in tune. He fucked with us for one of the songs, sped it up. He messed up himself. It was the crowd feeding off the energy on the stage, feeding off to the crowd. And when you capture something as rare as that, I love live recordings for that, you know?
Yeah.
Because
I really like
some of the Zeppelin live recordings, there's extra stuff in Stairway to Heaven you don't get on the live track. There's, John Bonham is at his best. You remember, that one episode we were talking about dream bands, how I talked up John Bonham. Listen to some of his live recordings. Holy shit. I hate to say that, but you know what I mean. Like, HC, holy crap. He was such a good drummer, and it was from those live tracks. So,
yeah.
You want to move on to your next one?
Yeah, sure. My next one, I know this is one of yours, probably your top pick. Chemical Romance, Life on the Murder Scene.
Yep, that's coming up for me to talk about. Yep.
I've just been so excited about this release. It was supposed to be on the April list. Then it got pushed back to the Black Friday list. I know Josh is probably going to go really in depth on it, so I'm just going to kind of mention it. It's supposed to be clear with the red splatter. It's a live album. I'm a My Chemical Romance fan, so I feel like I need to have this in my collection.
Yeah, especially because the press.
I feel like this is still going to be hard to get.
Yeah,
My Chem fans.
Yeah, and especially with the quality of the Black Parade is Dead release.
Oh my gosh, yes. That's such a wonderful.
They did such a damn good job on that. They could have just phoned it in, and they gave you the death certificate like on the CD. They gave you a wonderful gatefold, and what's funny is it's a blurry picture, and I love that because the only good picture I have from when I saw Mike Kim is a blurry-ass photo. I saw Mike Kim with Matt and Kim and the OG lineup of Blink-182 years ago.
Oh, wow. I'm jealous.
That was a good-ass show. But, okay, imagine, I had bought lawn seats just because, and I paid a little extra because it was rainy. Imagine a drunk-ass dude singing in front of you and high-fiving the guy behind you, barely able to see the band. That was my experience for Blink-182, but I had a clear view of my chem the entire time. I still enjoyed it. I still enjoyed it, even with my view being like I literally had to turn away from the guy,
Lucky.
I am.
I didn't get to see Blink-182 until Tom left, and I was like really pissed about that.
Yeah,
I love Tom.
Yeah, but it was a good show. All things considered, it was a good show. I'll have to. It's definitely not the night we're recording, but I will pull out my old photos and send you them. Just so you can kind of see, because I got some good photos for a little rinky-dink camera and how far back I was. It was in an amphitheater. So I'm just gonna knock out the rest of the my kind of maybes. The next couple I'm going to talk about are my backup list. So what that means is if I can't get anything on my top list, I'm probably going to grab something on this list. So, okay, so are you familiar with the Side-by-Side series at all?
I'm not.
Okay, so what this was they used to do this for a while, and they even did like a blind buy version of this. I did one. It was kind of cool. It was the Melvins and MC5. But what this is two artists, one song. So, for example, Tegan and Sarah, Back in Your Head. Classic song, right? The B-side is the Regrets at a later date recording the same song. So you get it side by side. Original artist, cover.
Gotcha.
Corey Taylor and the Dead Boys. All this and more side by side. Not only is, because they're usually a 7-inch, they went 12-inch single on this. First of all, thank you. I love 12-inch singles because that means not knocking the 7 inches, but that means you could get the grooves a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
And I just love 12-inch singles just because sometimes you can actually get the grooves kind of spaced out. And some of my 12-inch singles are some of the best sounding records I have. My Saxon 12-inch single, I love that. You know, even though it's 2 songs, I love my 12-inch singles. It's a red 12-inch single with a yellow inside with the Roadrunner. And of course, it's Corey Taylor of Slipknot and Stone Sour. I wish you guys know that he's a part of Stone Sour and he has his own fucking solo album coming out this year, right? Takes on a classic Dead Boys track with the original inspiration on the other side. That is so cool. I love the side-by-side series. I only have like 1 or 2 of them. But the theory behind it, I absolutely love. That's the kind of stuff that is interesting and unique for Record Store Day, you know?
Yeah.
When we talk about the cool this or that releases and like, oh, well, it's a re-release of, you know, another Rolling Stones album that we have like 20 million of. No, this is why we go to Record Store Day sometimes, is for stuff like this, the unique, cool, quirky, cool stuff, you know?
Mm-hmm.
The other backup is Welcome Interstate Managers by Fountains of Wayne. If you do not know their most famous song,
Stacy's mom has got it going on.
Now, this is a Record Store Day first release, which has promise. Now, you know, I've talked about in the past how I have that national live, Boxer Live in Brussels, right?
Uh-huh.
It's kept its value at like almost $100. It doesn't scare me or anything because, like I said, I buy it to listen. I have been wanting them to repress that for a while because that was a first release, you know? Like, oh, well, the other version's digital live. Hi. No. This is a Record Store Day first release. I hope they actually re-release it. Because if I can't pick it up then, great. It's a 2 LP set for $38.
Yep. This is my number 1, and I was kind
of... That's awesome. No, for me, I'm not as attached to it as that, you know? But I'm just... Well, I'll let you go into more detail of it when you talk about it. But my final backup one, and I asked my best friend to get this for me, because it's like, well, you know, we're talking about... I'm not doing Christmas this year with a bunch of people just because, you know, one moved into his new house. He doesn't have that much money, you know, all of that. I want Mila Jovovich's The Divine Comedy. She is one of my favorite actresses. You know, she was like a celebrity crush when I was in high school, you know, and, you know, she was a fashion model turned actress. She made a pop album when she was 19, and it's damn good stuff. Like, if you've heard some of her music, she knows how to craft some pop music. I will say that. So, while it's not number 1 for me, because I have some other stuff that I'm going to talk about, I would still love to have this because I really do adore her movies. And what's kind of creepy, I know you're listening, all you artificial intelligences out there taking my cookies. A new trailer came out for her new movie based on the Monster Hunter series. And as cheesy as it is, I'm probably going to watch it because she's in it. I really like her that much. And while it's kind of on, there's some other higher priority stuff on my list. You could probably guess at least one of the other ones that I haven't talked about yet that I know you saw on the list.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably waiting for me to talk about it. I know you're waiting for me to talk about it. And it's not one that we've actually talked about yet. But I know as soon as you read it, you're like, yep, no, Josh is going to pick that. You know, this one is kind of like, you know? Because while I love her, it's not, you know, it'd be a blind buy, basically. Because I haven't heard it, but I've only heard a couple of her pop songs, but I know I'm going to love it. And it's out of 1,000. So it's out of everything that I want, that's probably the hardest it's going to be to find. Although I did find the Wes Anderson one pretty easily, to be honest, because I was like 5th in line. And that was out of 1,000. But if I can't get it, oh well. You know, I'm not going to be like death, heart attack, you know, not having it, you know. So now that we've gotten all my backups out of the way, I'm on my top 4. So I'm going to turn it over to you for the one that you wanted to talk about.
All right, so you've already kind of mentioned it.
Mhm.
Fountains of Wayne, Welcome
Mhm.
Interstate Managers. This is my number 1.
Yay.
So, I mean, I know everybody knows Stacy's mom and the fact that she's
Got it going on. Yep.
that song. We've all heard it a bajillion million times. But I think this album is so underappreciated.
Yes, it is so underappreciated.
And I remember the first time I listened to this album, I absolutely just fell in love with it. There's not a bad song on this album.
Mm-mm.
I absolutely love everything about it. It is 100% flawless, and childhood. No matter how many times, I don't think I could ever not love it. And I know it's the first time on vinyl, so like it's technically not the end of the world if I don't get it, because it will be released again.
We know it'll be released again.
But
But
in my heart, I want this first release of it.
yes.
So
It's out of 3,000, so if you're there at a good time, you should not have a problem getting it.
yeah. I'm probably gonna try and be there early, like I have been. Because I've been getting there about 3:30, 4:00. So I'm probably gonna try and be there about then. Which I know the Black Friday record store day is usually a little more underwhelming, so the line doesn't get as long as quick. So
there was one time when it was the Greg Lake release that came out. I was first in line, and I was waiting there alone in the cold. And I'm like, this is a bad idea because of where the record store is in town. I'm like, this is probably a bad idea because usually if there's other people in line, you're kind of safe. But I was like, okay.
You live to tell about it.
Yeah. So, yeah, that one I knew as soon as I saw it. Everybody who loves that album is going to want it,
Oh, yeah. That's going to be a hard one to get.
Yeah, in the aftermarket. But if you're there and smart enough and as lucky as we have been with our stores,
Yeah.
So, did you cover all yours yet? Or
I did. Yep.
All right.
That's all mine.
So, I have 4 on my main list. I'm going to talk about them in least to most want order. The 7-inch of Chris Cornell's cover of Patience. Now, I have the other 7-inch that had come out just before he passed, right? So this is kind of going to be, the side release of this. Now, it's a record store day first. So I know they're probably going to release it again, trying to milk it. But at the same time, his cover of Patience blows Guns N' Roses out of the water. I am so sorry.
I've not heard his cover, but I will have to go and listen to it after we finish recording because I love Patience. It is one of my favorite Guns N' Roses songs. It was one of the first ones I ever heard from them. So
for me, I like that song, but to me, his version blows it out of the water. Like
I'm definitely gonna have to look into that.
You know that moment when Johnny Cash covered "Hurt" and then that became his song.
Yeah.
That's Patience to me with Chris Cornell.
Dang.
Like, I might be hyping it up. You might not think of it the same way, but you know how much I love Chris Cornell.
Yeah. I get it. Everyone has their guilty pleasure cover. Like, I cannot tell you how many times people have told me that Metallica's version of Stone Cold Crazy is better than Queen's. I literally want to slap them across the face. Sorry if that's your opinion, but I just have Queen shoved so far up my ass. It's not even funny. And I honestly, I really don't think Metallica did it better. So, mic drop.
Have you heard the country covers album of Motley Crue?
I've not, and I don't want to. That just sounds like something that should not happen.
The band says Cassidy Pope did an excellent job at The Animal in Me. And I'm going to sit here and tell you, if you listen to only one song on there just to kind of hear it, go check out Cassidy Pope's The Animal in Me. she does such a good job with that, making it her own. That even like Nikki Sixx and everybody said, man, she made the song sexier than it was already.
Yeah.
And I'm going to agree with him on that because I've been a fan of Cassidy Pope forever. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like even before she was a country singer, she was a part of Hey Monday, and I was following them all the way back then through her, going on The Voice and winning The Voice,
Uh-huh.
and then her country, pop then the country. I've been a fan of hers a long time. I don't visit it that often. Obviously, Motley Crue is Motley Crue. It's not a moment of this, but her cover of Animal and Me, it is a guilty pleasure cover, and it is good. So take just a grain of salt just to hear her once if you kind of want to. If you're going to pick only one, do Cassidy Pope because she is such a good singer.
All right. Yeah. Although, have you heard Tommy Lee's album?
I have not, and I definitely need to.
I fucking love Tommy Lee. He is like one of my rock.
Yep.
I had like the biggest crush on him when I was like 7.
Mm-hmm.
I love this man with my whole heart. That album, I was so disappointed.
Oh.
He literally said there's something for everyone. I couldn't do it. It was so disappointing for me. It come out today, and I was just like, I was so disappointed in it. My head still hurts from how disappointed I am.
Oh no, that stinks. But you know what doesn't stink? Have you heard his version of "Nothing Compares to You," which is the Prince classic song?
No.
That Chris Cornell's "Patience" is the A side, and his cover of "Nothing Compares to You" is on the B side. Chris Cornell, when he does covers, does such a good job that he makes it his own.
Mm-hmm.
And and it's its own thing, and it's nothing but, for me, this is the way I want to listen to Patience,
Yeah.
It doesn't make the Patience at the other end any bad, it's just I prefer this one. Speaking of Queen and Brian May, because this is related to the covers and everything.
Yes.
Have you seen the movie Spider-Man 2?
I have not. I don't really watch a lot of superhero stuff.
There is a song on the soundtrack. There's a song on the soundtrack, right? Called Someone to Die For. And it's a cover of his version. It's good. And maybe check out the other one. But Brian May plays guitar on that song. So you might want to check it out. Jimmy Gnecco featuring Brian May, Someone to Die For. It is so good because
I love Brian May.
The reason I had to mention it was because of that connection that I was making.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, I'm a sucker.
I will grab the link.
They know it. I have sucker tattooed across my forehead.
I'll send it to you after we're done recording. If you have a couple minutes, I want to hear your live reaction to that. If you have a minute.
Yeah. Okay.
But anyway, we're going to continue on. Moving up next is Alice in Chains' Sap. I bet you're waiting on me saying this. As big an Alice in Chains fan as I am, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I was waiting on this one.
Good. Now, it's the first time ever that the second studio EP, which is basically when Mike Inez joined, my favorite bassist in rock and roll and metal is Mike Inez. We've said this before. So this is his work. It's the second studio EP because if you look online, Jar of Flies and Sap are usually put together, And there is the music on vinyl release. That's about $30 for the both of them, right? Not a bad price. First time ever on its own, Sometimes they put it together, but it's standalone. And it's a departure from their heavy sound. This is more an acoustic one. And Jerry Cantrell sang a lot of the lead vocals on this one. The side B is a different etching because it's just a one-sided EP. And the B side is just the at the time logo of the band. If you buy the music on vinyl version, it has their Sun logo. So it's a little bit different. It has Brother, Got Me Wrong, Right Turn, Am I Inside, Love Song. Got Me Wrong and Am I Inside are worth it enough for me because I've talked about it before. Remember when I got the 2 7-inches from Record Store Day for Alice in Chains? I got that.
Mm-hmm.
I got the live facelift. And I have to get this because anytime it's Alice in Chains with Record Store Day, I gotta have it. You know what the best part about this is? The price. Guess how much they are selling this for?
How much?
A very reasonable $13.
Wow, really?
Actually, it's $15. That is
Wow.
so reasonable.
That's cheap.
That is so reasonable for something like this, you know? It looks like they raised the price about $2 recently. You know, what's $2 between friends, right? Like,
yeah, right. I get it.
I have a tenner in my pocket. I just won $2 off a scratcher. There's my Alice in Chains.
There you go.
Now, the last two. Life on the Murder Scene. It was called The Murder Scene. They typoed it. It is Life on the Murder Scene from Mike Kim. This is a classic live CD DVD. It was a CD DVD combo released in 2006. You know, this is the first time it's basically going to be on vinyl. And it was taken from the MTV2 $2 bill show and the Starlin Ballroom sessions at AOL. If that ain't bringing up some old memories, I don't know what is. AOL, we're dusting... blow the dust off of that. Much like the release for The Black Parade is Dead, this is one of their most well-known albums done live. Thank You for the Venom, Cemetery Drive, Give 'Em Hell Kid, Head First for Halos, Helena. You know what they do to guys like us in prison? The Ghosts of You, I'm Not Okay, I Promise, I Never Told You What I Do for a Living, Demo, Bury Me in Black, Demo, and Desert Song. This is a great companion piece for my Black Parade is Dead live album, which we've already touted is one of the best releases done by Record Store Day, not only because it was black vinyl, but from the labels to the sound quality to the packaging. Like, yes, they put it in paper sleeves. We can knock them on that, but I've already put them in my MoFi sleeves by now. But yeah, one of the better releases done very well. And I know MCR wouldn't allow this to come out unless it was very good quality. So it's at a 7,500. I should be able to get it that day, but numbers mean nothing. If you know anything about the Pearl Jam release from last year, we know that numbers mean nothing. Get there on the day and get it.
Yep.
That's what that number means. Or else you're paying a lot of money secondhand. And what's funny,
which you don't want to do.
And what's funny is my buddy Chris, because I have a couple buddies, Chris. There's a Chris that I met on Discord. I'm giving you a shout out now if you're listening. One of the best people I've met this year, or the past couple of years that I've met. Really cool dude that I talk to on Discord every single day. Want to give him a shout out. And he loves his thing is public transportation. You know how we have like kind of everything that we love. He loves racing and he loves public transportation, which I find interesting. And not in like a negative way. I learn something new every time I talk to him. Because he takes trips out to see, the various model types for that particular transportation. Like, oh, this is XYZ model train, and it went out of commission on this year, and I got a picture of it. It's kind of cool. He's a really cool dude. I want to give him a shout out. But it just kind of to collectively move back from that tangent because I lost my train of thought. Get it?
Yeah, there you go. Train of thought.
My number one, anybody who knows me, and the thing I screamed the most for, Volbeat's Hocus Bonus. So, what this is, it's a compilation of bonus tracks from previous Volbeat albums on a smoky gray limited edition vinyl. Now, I'm going to call them and Record Store Day out on a bold faced lie. These are the bonus tracks that have never appeared on vinyl in the USA before. Now, because we can talk about this, I'm not going to talk the names on my YouTube channel because there is swearing involved, but I could talk about it here. It is Rebel Angel, Angel Fuck, Ecotone, Lola Montez, the harp version, Evelyn, the early Michael Vox version, Slayton, For Evict, which we'll talk about in a minute, featuring Johan Olsen, Black Rose, the Michael Vox version, Under the Influence, Immortal but Destructible, Die to Live, the Michael Vox version. I have a copy from Record Store Day of Beyond Hell, Above Heaven, which is like their most well-known album. It has Heaven and Hell, Heaven nor Hell. It is probably their most well-known album and what a lot of people got into them for, right? Record Store Day in the USA released that, and Angel Fuck was on that. Knock one. Ecotone, I bought a regular US pressing of that, right? Ecotone is available on Outlaw Gentlemen and Shady Ladies. What they should have said is some of the bonus tracks have never appeared on vinyl in the US before. For Evict, for example, is available on Seal the Deal and Let's Boogie in Europe. So we got the English version, which is called The Bliss. So if I wanted to have that particular song on vinyl, I would have had to have bought a European pressing of the album, which is no consequence. I've bought European presses before. But because of that specific song, the harp version of Lola Montez, the other version of Evelyn, the other version of Black Rose, and the other version of Die to Live, I might have the first two of the songs already. And Slayton I could probably grab on another vinyl, grab another album. But I got to give me some for Evict. I love that song. And I sent you that song earlier today, and I know you took a listen to it.
Yeah, I did.
That song means a whole hell of a lot to me. There was a time, when that had come out, there was a time in my life when I wasn't in such a good position. I had kicked someone very toxic out of my life who had a hell of a lot of control of my life at that time. And that song was so freeing to listen to. And even though it's in another language, I can sing it by heart, both versions. If you listen to the original version and this one, it's no comparison. Johan does such a good job on that song. He makes that song what it is. And it's out of 3,000. I have to have this. And it is not an if, and, or but. I have not been this excited for a Record Store Day release since I've been going. Like, I am... Oh my gosh, I'd be willing to wait overnight for this. That's how excited I am. I'm not going to do that because it's probably going to be cold as shit. But...
Yeah.
You've heard that, and I might send you some more Volbeat songs eventually so you can get an idea of what I'm talking about with this. Angel Fuck is actually a cover. Their covers are really good. Not in a class of they made it their own, but their covers are awesome, And when they play them live, it's a staple of theirs that when you hear a Volbeat cover, it's really good. And Michael Paulson, who is one of the best metal vocalists, rockabilly vocalists, I swear sometimes when you listen to him, he sounds like Elvis reincarnated. The way his tone is and the way he sings. I gotta send you some of his stuff because some people call him a newer version of Elvis with the way he sings, which is kind of cool, No one can compare to Elvis, of course.
Oh yeah, hands down.
But I'd be okay with calling him a modern day Elvis personally, you know?
Yeah.
But I love, 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 love the cover of it because it represents every single one of the albums that all these songs come from. Have you seen the cover?
I have not.
We have a Discord call open. I'm going to send it to you and you get to look at it.
Okay.
Because we're recording this kind of live, but I'm sending you the cover right now. Who knows? I might actually put it up on the screen if we could see it right now. But to me, this represents exactly what this was going out to do. And I am so for it. And I'm going to hear people, you know it's a B-side comp. Why are you getting so excited for a B-side comp? Snarf, snarf. Shut up. It's my money. Get out.
Everybody is entitled to like their own thing.
Like
is what I like to say.
And you know what? It's only $24.
That's not bad.
Everything. Okay, so Chris Cornell is $11 for the 7-inch. I don't absolutely have to have it, you know. I'd rather have the Volbeat, the Marichen, and the Alice in Chains. But, you know, I might be a whim on the day. Like, that's the one I could probably live without out of the four that I've mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
But it, let's see. The Sap is 14. The Life on the Mercy, it's $21. Like, that, to me, is, like, the steal of Record Store Day.
Yeah, for sure. That's the cheapest one I have other than list.
The Hocus Bonus is $25. You know, it is just, oh my God! I just learned something new. The Volbeat is hand numbered.
There you go. Now you've got to have it.
The Volbeat is hand numbered. Oh my God! You're speaking to me. You're speaking to me. I know the band isn't going to label it, but part of the fun of Record Store Day is the getting that number. You know, even if it's just the stamped on there, just to know you have the number. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
But I learned something interesting too. The Chris Cornell is on white vinyl. That's cool. That's cool. But yeah, so do you want to go into our Record Store Day tips, tricks, hints, and allegations and things left unsaid by Collective Soul?
I guess my only thing like I can really say is to number one, call your stop by,
check their social
figure
media
out what times they open, how they're going to be going about it, because obviously is new to everyone and everybody's had to change how things are done. So my store has drastically changed how they do things. And so you just want to check in with your local store, see how they're going to do things. You know, be there early. If there's something you really, really want that's very limited,
be there early.
Wait.
Be there early. We can chant it. Be there early. And bring a buddy. Bring a line buddy.
Yeah. Yeah, don't go alone. I hate going alone because, you know, I feel like I don't really talk to a lot of people. I'm not very outgoing when in line. And so I feel like if I didn't have my fiance there with me, then I'd be so scared.
Yeah, the last couple of times, actually, the last time I was there, I talked about the Rooster nickname and everything. That was a fun group to just chat with, you know? And everybody was distant, you know. What we mean by bring a buddy is bring somebody that, you know, you can trust, keep the social distancing and everything, of course.
Yeah, that was going to be another big point. Just, you know, be safe when going.
And the reason we say bring a buddy is don't get shanked.
Yeah, that's also true. You don't want that to happen. That wouldn't be fun.
No. But, you know, budget. Watch your budget. Don't overspend.
Mhm.
And where we get our prices, again, is bullmoose.com. Every time the record store day list has dropped, they have put out, in general, what the price is going to be. And you can look at it, and to me, they're organized better than the record store day site on some things. Like,
Yeah, I agree.
and what I mean by that is track listing. Sometimes they smash the track listing together, and your eyes go cross from trying to read it. You go on Bull Moose, they have it listed in like a nice numerical order, so you can be like, "Oh, this is on this one. I want this." And I will say this: Record Store Day, when they did the drops, they dropped the ball because they failed to mention what was a Record Store Day first, what was a limited release, and what was an exclusive. And what we mean by that is there are 3 classes of Record Store Day releases. One is limited run regional focus, which is self-explanatory. One is exclusive to Record Store Day exclusive. And Record Store Day first means that it will be released at a later time, possibly on a different version. So the Chris Cornell Patience could be pressed on a black vinyl later, or it could be a digital only. We've already heard it on the radio station because we know it's not going to be digital only at this point. But we know it's going to be pressed again. Like there was a Neil Young. Here's a perfect example. There was a live Neil Young a couple of years ago. What made it special for Record Store Day was the art print that had come with the record versus you just getting it later down the line,
Yeah.
So I'm not saying against if it's a Record Store Day first and you absolutely have to get it, but you might want to tune more towards the Record Store Day exclusives if you're more of the itch, like you need to get rid of that itch for collecting exclusive stuff. And do not overspend. Do not overspend. Do not overspend. What I like to do, and I've done a little bit different, I have a Google Sheets. And what I do is I put the artist, the title, what format, the quantity, release type, and then I put, what level I want it, and then I put the price. But what I've done recently is I actually have a link to the actual release so I can look at it if I want to. And then I have a link to the Bull Moose exact listing in case the price changes.
Yeah, I have something similar on my Google Drive.
We are not saying go all out like us, but the better organized you are, the better. And if you're going to be spending a lot of money, you might want to look into it just so it'll be like, oh, it's just a picture disc,
Yeah.
Or as Frank from Channel 33 RPM did a couple of years ago, I know what I'll do. I'll flip that Justin Bieber picture disc and make a lot of money. Have you seen that video?
I've not. I think I missed that one.
That's a couple of years ago. He had posted that. It's really funny. It was kind of like going down the list. It was like this and that. Oh, Justin Bieber picture disc. I bet I can make a lot of money on it. Iron Maiden. It was kind of like
great.
It's like stereotypical of what Record Store Day was at the time.
Yeah, I agree.
There are some things I miss about the old school Record Store Day. To be honest, and it's something intangible that we can't quite put I can't quite put my finger on it, but at the end of the day, it's all about fun and it's all about supporting your local shop, which you should do all the time. But this year, I've been lucky to have gone to the 2. I'm gonna have to let my store know that I can't make it out to October, but I'll be out there in November because I bought myself a video game this year, and there was nothing really on the list. It was the Warren Zevon Greatest Hits, and I'm like, do I really want to get up that early for an extra live track? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the store's gonna get my money next month anyway, so
there you go. You've done your part.
I need to take some time to time out to save up the money to go and do that.
Yeah, for sure.
But this is it's been an interesting year, and I'm glad we're having the Black Friday because at least that one's going to feel the most normal out of the Record Store days, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it's not gotten changed.
Nope.
It's going to be kind of normal.
I'm actually kind of glad that we had it on 3 different days, to be completely honest with you. Because, like you said earlier, I've gotten releases that I probably would have passed on, and it allowed me time to make up some more money. Because
Mm-hmm.
when I went to the September one, I had an extra pay, so I was able to spend like $140 and make it kind of
Yeah.
really special. And that one ended up turning out to be one of my favorite record store days in years because of talking to people and the releases that I got and just the whole atmosphere. Yes, I only got like 3 things, but it was the atmosphere of it. You know, we got this curveball of we didn't get the breakfast this time, but it
Mm-hmm.
didn't matter. We actually had characters to talk to. So, I'll be interested to see where it goes with this, especially because Black Friday is going to move to online, a lot of it. A lot of the retailers are not opening up for Thanksgiving, which is really actually nice.
Yeah.
I will say one blessing from this pandemic is people are not having to work on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I know. That's so not.
Wow.
It's going to be so weird
It
because,
is.
like,
They're probably
I have
missing the
not,
holiday pay, but that's beside the point.
yeah, I have not been able to just remember a time when people didn't work on Thanksgiving.
It'll be kind of nice, you know?
Wasn't as big of a deal. Like, a lot of places still were closed or like had limited hours or something, but like, it's full blown been Black Friday on Thanksgiving.
We were kind of thinking it was eventually going to move to Black Thanksgiving or like not, you know what I mean though, like Black Friday
Yeah.
part 1 and part 2.
Yeah.
And you know what I completely meant by that. But it's just kind of nice that the retailers are like, it's not going to make sense for us to open, so just have your day with your family. Now,
Yeah. I love that.
if they were nice, they would pay for that day. We have yet to know what's going to happen with that, but that's getting political, and I don't want to get political, you know?
Yeah, I agree. But anyway.
I don't have any more thoughts. Do you have any more thoughts before we head into the wrap ups?
No, I am actually good.
Good.
I've,
I'm good too because even though it's like 9 and 8 o'clock for us, we're tired. You're hearing this at like 1 in the morning, so we're heading up close to 2 hours. So if you're watching this and you're still here from the midnight, thank you so much. If you're listening to this at another time, thank you so much. And if you made it this far and you want to hear more, a subscribe would be kind of nice. I haven't last checked our subscriber count, but I know there are people out there listening and enjoying this. And if you do enjoy this, thank you so much. And thank you for listening through all the hiccups that we've had this entire episode. It's been interesting. This year and this podcast has gone through so much craziness, if we're being
oh, I
completely
know.
honest. I'd like to get us to a point where we're doing this consistently, but what is consistency anymore? I don't even know
I
what
don't know.
consistency is anymore.
Is that even a word? Is that a real word?
I don't even know. If you have anything, if y'all know if it's a word or not, let us know down in the comments below. Y'all have been great for listening to this. I've had such a wonderful time doing this, and for the future, we're hoping to have some guests on for the podcast, which is going to be super exciting.
Yeah, I know. I'm super excited about that.
I am too. And what we might do is, if it's a guest and you can't make it, I can have someone pop on as a guest in your absence too. But we're a dynamic duo here. It's kind of cool. I'd like to have your fiance on sometime, maybe. I think that might be fun.
Maybe if he would agree to it.
If he would agree to it, of course. Everybody's got to agree to
Yeah.
it. But, he was one of the people that I thought would be a great guest on the podcast.
If I could get him to do it, he's pretty shy.
Well,
do the record store day videos with me. I'm like, please.
Well, we might have to just do a call where we get kind of comfortable with each other, but that's only if he's willing to do it. I'm not trying to force anybody, but
yeah.
But that's beside the point. We can plan it ahead at another time. But we are having guests on. We are working out schedules. So if it's not the next podcast, it might be the next one after. But we are going to be having guests, which is super awesome.
And I'm so excited about having guests on our podcast.
Yeah, not that we don't like talking to each other. Of course we do. But just to have another, mind to kind of bounce things off of would just be so awesome, you know?
Yeah. Hmm.
Uh, thank you so much for watching. It does mean quite a bit to us that you watch it if you made it this far. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. It really does mean a lot to us. To us, we're just talking to each other, and then there's no one in the ether to go, yay! So it's kind of weird when you do like the podcast with that and everything. So if you are
Yeah.
watching, thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you made it this far, even much more thank you. And do you have any closing thoughts before I wrap us up here?
I don't. I'm actually good to go.
So if you're listening to this and you're having a really tough time, I say at the end of everything that I'm in, and I don't think I'm ever going to get tired of saying this, when the waters get rough, please, please keep on sailing. Even if you feel like no one else believes in you and it's crazy and chaotic, heaven knows we're all going through the chaos right now. Both of us are rooting for you right now. We want the best in you, even if you don't have the capacity to accept it, or you're not in a good mind state. There's sometimes I've talked to people where they just really appreciated hearing that someone believed in them, even if they couldn't accept it at that moment. We believe in you. You are worth it. You're amazing. You are loved. You need to keep going. If anything this year has taught me is it's that fighting, the spirit of the fight to keep going is stronger than ever. It doesn't matter what line you lie on any spectrum. You can do this. You can do this. You are loved. Be the light for somebody else. We'll be the light for you in your darkest time right now. Just keep going. We absolutely believe in you. And we look forward to you joining us in the next podcast.